Hello, heathens, and welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast with your hosts, Godless Engineer and Caitlin. Now, let's get into the Bible.
Hey, y'all.
So, Casey, what do we have today?
Okay, well, so last time we left off with we did creation of the world and Adam and Eve. So today we're going to start with the first 3 sons of Adam and Eve.
Woo, the first 3 sons? How
Yeah.
many babies mama did he have?
Well, we don't really know. We just know that they had 3 sons.
Okay, so they just kind of banged them out quick.
No, actually, at first they had Cain and Abel, and then way later they had Seth when Noah was
20 years?
700 years old.
Fuck me. God damn.
Yeah.
700 years old. He's still throwing down children.
He might have
Come on.
Hey, he might have been 600. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so Adam was 130 years old when he had Seth.
130. God damn. Still 130 and still hitting chicks. I mean, come on. He's throwing down sperm down the old pipe like a boss.
It wasn't chicks. It was Eve.
No, wait. It was just one chick?
Yes, he had his 3 sons with one chick.
I see they're doing it traditional.
We didn't have gangster rap back then. People didn't know about baby daddies and all these other things. Or babies, mamas, or whatever.
Mhm.
Was that racist?
Regardless.
Wait,
go ahead.
how long did we make it without racism? 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's with a lot of dead air, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's before I get into too predictive shit, so let's start. What's your first question on these two?
Okay, so each section, as I've kind of explained, starts out with a devotional insight section. Okay, so to start out in the devotional insight section, it talks about how there is no indication of other created human beings, and it is altogether that these first brothers and sisters enter into marriages with each other despite the sense of inappropriateness. So my first question is, if this is the societal norm at the time, and I say society really loosely because these are the only people on earth, right? So if this is the societal norm, where did a sense of inappropriateness come from? If this is how it always was, that's not inappropriate, right? So I guess I'm not understanding how this is inappropriate.
Well, I think it became inappropriate when Adam mistakenly fucked Seth. I mean, because you know, as we all know, God just hates them gays. Them gays can burn in hell. So obviously, the gays ruined it for us at first by Adam fucking his own son. I mean, that's the only logical way that we can really go about this, Casey.
No, this is not the only logical way we can go about this because I wasn't talking about the parents fucking the children. I was talking about the children fucking each other.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it must have been Seth.
Like the Duggars.
oh my God. Holy shit. That's exactly like what the Duggars. Yeah, exactly. Maybe Seth fucked one of his brothers that's not listed. I mean, I don't know. All I know is God hates gays, and that's generally women, and the gays are generally the scapegoats for God.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because the whole they talk about Adam and Eve and their 3 sons. And then they talk about how the first brothers and sisters enter into marriages with each other, but they never mention Eve having any daughters, which we assume that she does because throughout Genesis, when they do the lineage stories, which we're going to get to, and it's really super boring, they never ever mention daughters.
Well, no, I mean, just some real facts here. That's because they were a patriarchal society, and women were seen as pretty much worthless.
Right.
They weren't worth being recorded or even being mentioned or anything like that. So
right, we're gonna get to some discussion on that. Yeah. So let's start with Cain and Abel. All right.
This sounds like a rap song. Are you sure they didn't have rap? Because it kind of seems like this is an East Coast West Coast kind of thing.
I mean, okay, so we can say Yes, they totally had ghetto rap up in Adam and Eve days, and that would be what we call an alternative fact.
Ha! Good one. Good one. Alternative facts, people. Learn them. It's pretty much anything you can fucking make up. Okay, so there's anything that you can make up. Fucking flying saucers abducted my dog and performed anal sex on him. That's an alternative fact. You can take it to the bank.
Hashtag alternative facts. Let's make it happen. All right, Cain and Abel. So Adam lay with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. So, what I also, this is just because I forgot to start it out this way because I'm a fucking amateur. Genesis 4, verse 1 through 2a. 1 through 2a.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
just the first part of 2.
Yeah.
They're half-assing it already. I can see how it's going.
So my first question is, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. What did God do? Is she the first Mary? Is it really God's baby? Or
don't you know that every man is also a cuck?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a cuck to God. Basically, he takes a wife and then God fucks him, and and that's the origin of cuck. Hashtag alternative facts.
Next. Moving right along. Okay, Genesis chapter 4, 2b through 7. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought forth some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. Now, whatever would possess these people to present offerings to the Lord, this is the first record of people worshiping God. So, what would possess people to do this? Because Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they did not worship God. That wasn't a thing. This is the first recorded time of this happening. So what would make them do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why God needs food, considering he spent so long before any of these fucks were around, that not needing food. Like, do you think that maybe God created the earth and everything on it just so that he could get himself a goddamn sandwich?
No, it's no. Plus, that's Eve's job. Sexism and racism. I'm on it today. Yeah. All right. So no, I don't think it was about food. It's about bringing forward the fruits of your labor and sacrificing something that you've worked for to God. It's not about food.
Okay.
I guess I just don't understand what would possess them to do this. What would make them think to do this or think that this was a thing that they should be doing?
Yeah, I don't have any kind of thing. I don't like my alternative facts are tapped right now.
Oh, okay. So Cain brought fruit because he's a farmer. He farms the land. So he brought some of the fruits of the soil. Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. Why? Why was God upset with Cain's offering? Like, okay, so Cain didn't actually hurt any living thing by bringing fruits of the soil. He didn't like cut thighs off of an animal to bring, because it says Abel brought fat portions. So I don't know if he cut up an animal and killed it,
look, as we know, the fat portions of animals are pretty much like the candy of meat.
Right, like bacon. That's what he did. No wonder God was pleased with his, because the motherfucker brought him bacon. And I'd rather eat bacon than an apple, wouldn't you?
Well, I think that it more or less means like the actual fat, like the gristle that you like to pluck out of your steak.
Yeah, because it's disgusting.
Yeah, that's what he brought. That's what he brought God, and God was like, "Motherfucker brought me this, and you brought me a goddamn orange? Fuck off!"
But I'd rather have the orange than the gristle.
Well, you see, that's why you're not God.
I don't eat the gristle now. When it's sitting on, I throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Well,
We're giving
look,
to you.
But look, what they're trying to do here is set precedents for how their society is gonna be. So they have these people bring animal offerings to God, because that's how they wanted their society to run. And bringing fruit obviously didn't please God, because they didn't want the people to just think, "Oh, fruit will be enough." No, you got to bring us fucking meat.
But fruit is what he had. Fruit is what he worked for. Fruit was the labor of his love. Like, it seems like it's kind of one of those things that we have, like, it's the thought that counts. Apparently to God, it's not the thought that counts. You best bring his ass some meat ass, or you're just a dick.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And I
definitely.
got ass and dick in the same sentence without actually talking about ass fucking.
Yep.
Yep.
Good on you. Although you failed there right at the end. All right, next.
Next. Okay, so um God asked Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But do if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door and it desires to have you, but you must master it." So
That just sounds like a very weird 50 Shades of Grey chapter. You must master this sin. And it's like that autistic screeching thing. It's like, "Ah!" And like maybe that's sin. Could that be sin?
I have no idea. Let's move on.
Sin's got the tism. That's what it's got.
Okay, so again, I guess I go back with this verse right here. I go back to, if you do what is right, will you not be accepted? If you do not do what is right, okay, sin is crouching at your door. So how do they know what is right? How do they know what they're supposed to do? Because there is nothing that tells them what they're supposed to do. These are the second two people on the planet, right? Because you have Adam and Eve. These are their first two sons. There's only two of them. So these are the second two people on earth. I can't imagine that they would really know what it is they're supposed to be doing.
Well, God spoke to them.
Well, God sounds like kind of a dick.
Yeah, well, God is a dick.
Okay.
But no, what I mean is that God imparted upon them the instinct to do it. You would think that they would have some kind of continuity in the story, but first century goat herders are too busy fucking the livestock rather than writing stories.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're just gonna do a little skip past Cain killing Abel. Yeah, everybody know. Well, y'all should know Cain kills Abel. The mark of Cain. That's why black people are bad. Cain is punished.
That's why black people suffered slavery for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Because Cain killed his brother. Because apparently Cain was black, but Abel was white, and they both came from two white people in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. This is alternative facts.
Yeah, exactly. Alternative as fuck is what they are.
Okay, so we're going to skip forward to Cain's descendants, which is Genesis chapter 4, 17 through 22. All right, so Cain lay with his wife, and she became pregnant after his son Enoch. Where'd this bitch come from?
Definitely not another rib, I guess. I don't know where she would have came from.
So she could have been. We actually, there's really no way for us to know, because based off of this, she should have been one of his sisters, right?
Right.
But they're never meant. No female offspring of Adam and Eve are ever recorded, so we don't know. But if she was not a sibling, where are these other people coming from? Where's this other? And I ask this question a lot. You're going to hear this question a few times. The fuck did this person come from? Because, like, they just, all of a sudden, randomly, there are people, villages, towns, cities. I mean, there's places all over the planet with people on them. I don't know where the fuck these people came from.
Well, like some people, I know that there are a few Christians out there that like to explain it as that there were other towns that existed with other people in them, and that's how they reproduced, and that's where they went and got wives from.
But where did those people come from? Because Adam was made out of dirt, Eve was made out of Adam's rib. We have Cain Abel, and later we're gonna have Seth. But that's it's and maybe daughters, I guess. We don't know. But that's it. That's it. Where did another god create these other people? Were like the other gods that are mythology now? Like, did those gods create the other towns on the earth where there's people? And those people?
I really don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know like where they can rationalize it other than just fucking God's magical. Like that's the only explanation that I can think of.
Did he do that goatsy thing and other people fell out?
Like, here you go, Adam. I gotta go and shit on a few more towns. You just stay right there. I'll be back in a second. I gotta lay the groundwork for,
Okay, so now we go through Cain's descendants. Most of these people's names I cannot pronounce. So I could just make up names, which is what, Christians have done for people in the Bible, because there's no way that there were people named what they were named in the Middle East and what we name them, Anglo-Saxon names. No way. Okay, so Cain lay with his wife. She had Enoch. Okay, so Cain built a city for, all the people that aren't there. Enoch had a son, we'll call him Ira. Ira was the father of
I can just imagine it now. Like, I'm gonna call you Ira. Oh man.
Well, his name's Irad or Irid or something like that.
Irritating as fuck is what they need to name him.
Ira had a son, that person had a son, that person had a son, and that person had a son. Okay, so Seth's great grandson.
I don't think they were that great. I mean, I get the hierarchy that it's spelling out, but I'm just saying they were probably shitty people.
Okay, so we're gonna call him Larry.
Fucking Larry, that's what you get.
So Larry married two women, one named Ada and the other one named Zilla. Okay, so then they shot out some kids. Apparently, one of them had a kid named Jubal, and he was the father of all who played the harp and flute, which is how we get the word Jubilee.
Really?
Hashtag alternative fact. Okay, so again, people, wives, women. So, like, basically, here it is. They spell out all of the sons, and then it's like, where the fuck do the women come from? So there are towns of women, binders full of women. Is that what they had? Binders full of women. That's my guess. Hashtag alternative fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So then sometime later, Adam lay with Eve again. We're back to Adam and Eve. This is when Adam is 130 years old. They had Seth, and Eve says, God granted me another child in place of Abel since Cain killed him. Seth also had a son and named him Enosh. So Cain had Enoch, Seth had Enosh. And at this time, men began to call on the name of the Lord. So again, this is when God worship started.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Still seems like an alternative fact, because I mean, before this point in actual history, I mean, people have been worshiping gods for a few thousand years.
Yeah. Now we can talk about descendants from Adam to Noah.
Okay.
And actually, it's interesting. This part is really super fucking boring. What's interesting about this is that the earliest humans lived for hundreds of years. The earliest ones nearly a millennia. So you have these people that lived so long. Then as you have descendants further down the line, their lifespans are shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. But the separation of the generations is not that far, because Adam lived for 930 years or something like that. So he was still alive when like his great 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 grandkids were being born.
Well, yeah. Well, here's a curious question:
Hmm.
What killed Adam?
Oh, Adam died. Hold on, I can tell you. I can tell you this. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how Adam died. I just know he lived 930 years and then he died.
But yeah, that
Old age.
just old age at fucking 930 years. What, like, how is that? How is that an acceptable answer? Oh, he died of old age. What the fuck was old back then? You know, considering the
Anthropological.
anthropological. You know, the pathological, the anthropathological answer.
You've got a touch of the tism tonight.
The the anthropological. There we go. The anthropological answer would be that, you know, he actually died probably at about 30 years old or so. Like that was the average lifespan of people back then. I don't know where in the fuck they get to extend it out 930 fucking years.
So the explanation in the Bible is that in the Garden of Eden, humans were immortal. Okay, so Adam and Eve ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That made them mortal. Okay,
What does
so
that even mean though back then?
what?
Like at that point in time, what did mortal mean? It definitely wasn't, oh, you're gonna fucking die, you know, within a reasonable amount of time.
No,
No,
it just means before they ate the fruit, they were immortal. Their punishment was their punishment was that they had their immortality taken away, so they would die. And it's not necessarily they're going to die right now, but the fact that they would die is their punishment, that they would not live forever in paradise, which is truly not sustainable. The more people that you have that live forever, there's no way to sustain that.
right.
But anyway, my guess about how Adam died. You want to hear my alternative fact?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Adam died banging his 9 times great granddaughter, and she just
You
wore
think?
his ass out.
Oh, you think she like? You don't think that like Eve came in and was like, "How are you fucking now?"
You know what would be funny is if she walked in on that shit, reached into her side and grabbed the fucking rib that God made her with and smacked him over the head with it and killed him. That shit would be funny.
I think she would probably stab him in the back rather than anything else.
Okay. Descendants from Adam to Noah. Okay. So the men who are named each live for hundreds of years and have children from when they are 65 to 500 years old. So the explanation of this is that basically time was different then. Apparently, you know, the earth's rotation, making day and night and all that other shit, and how it rotated around the sun was so vastly different that time was perhaps shorter than modern years. No fucking clue. Others have explained the unusual longevity on a variety of bases, including the effect of the fruit of the tree of life of the Garden of Eden, the original immortality of man, and feeling only the slightest consequences of sin at the early stage in man's development. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be the superiority of the food, the atmosphere, and other living conditions during this period. So they had clean air and clean water, which we're about to get rid of in the United States. So that's good. Okay.
We're working hard on that shit. We're pretty proud of it. It's tremendous. It's gonna be a huge development. We're gonna market air to our citizens. Is what we're gonna do.
Okay, so this here is an important thing I'm about to read. And this is part of the devotional insight in this book, okay? One can only speculate, but acknowledging a creative being powerful enough to bring the universe into existence certainly allows the option for such a creator to permit unusually lengthy lives for whatever purpose might suit his comprehensive plan for mankind. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm an atheist. Because this is bullshit. And everything that you can explain cannot be explained by, well, he's all powerful and he's got a plan, so that's why. No, that is not rational thought. That's bullshit.
Well, they're just it's God of the gaps
Yes.
is what it is. If we can't explain it, then therefore just blame it on God, or say that it was God's fault, or say that God has a reason for it.
Okay, so another interesting thing about the descendants of uh, from Adam to Noah is that at some point they all die, right? At some point we all die. Death is part of life. However, Enoch, which if you remember back, Enoch is Cain's son. Enoch doesn't die ever. Enoch never dies. After 365 years of what apparently is an exceptionally righteous life, Enoch is taken from the world in some manner other than death. We don't know what this manner is, but he is the only person in the Bible who it's not explicit that he died. He was explicitly taken from the earth in some other manner.
Aliens. I'm just putting my alternative fact out there. Aliens.
The actual quote is that what it actually says, the account of Enoch going away, is that he was no more.
Did he fucking dissolve? Is that
know.
what happened? Did he just jump in the water and all of a sudden, oh, I forgot, I'm fucking made out of salt, and then he dissolves?
He just he disappeared from the Matrix.
They woke his ass up.
I'm just not really sure. I'm not really sure, but that's the only interesting thing that happens here.
It was the Illuminati.
It was the Illuminati. Okay, so the next page, and we can go over it, but we're not gonna, because there's way other better things we can talk about. Way other better things. That's not even like real grammar. You know, I learned I learned that from our new presumptive Secretary of Education, Ms. DeVos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's from the Department of Public Education, I think you're okay. You're solid.
Yeah. Maybe I could have used vouchers.
Yeah, you could have.
I went to Catholic school. Okay, so this whole next page goes through the descendants: Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Malahalel, Jared, Enoch, all these other names. Larry, there's Larry. Oh, Larry was Noah's dad. Larry had Noah when he was 182 years old. He named him Noah and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord has cursed." After Noah was born, Larry lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Larry lived 777 years and then he died. Then you've got Shem, Ham, and Japheth. I don't know how to say these names. See, it's funnier when I make them up. Larry was hella better than whatever the fuck his name actually is.
Japheth will forever be known as Jerry.
Jerry? Larry and Jerry? Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. So, anyway, all of this is bullshit. Let's see. Adam was 930 years when he died. Seth was 912 years old when he died. Enosh was 905 years when he died. Kenan lived 910 years. Marty, he lived 895 years. Jared, 692 years. So Jared lived longer than Adam.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't understand the mortality bit. Like, I get the mortality means that you're gonna die, but it just seems kind of like a hit or miss as to whether, like, how shitty would it be for you to wake up and be like, well, don't fucking know if I'm gonna live today. Well, I mean, I guess you really don't.
Everybody does that.
Well, I mean, you don't know now, but I mean, like, we have a general sense of like the lifespan.
Yeah.
Like, barring the unknown part of life, we know that, like, you know, I'm gonna live to be 70 years old at least, something like that. But for these guys, it's just like, oh, you know what? I'm past 70, could die any day now.
Or I could have another kid in 300 more years.
By that time, the sperm is probably using crutches to get there.
Okay, so Enoch This says Enoch walked with God, then he was no more because God took him away.
You can't have them in mine.
Methuselah was 969 years. Larry 777. After Noah, so Noah had his sons when he was 500, after he was 500 years old.
Okay.
So, and Noah's sons are Shem, Ham, and Jerry. So, do you want to move on to mankind's degeneration into wickedness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that day 3?
Yes. Or do you want to wrap this up and we'll do that on the next day?
How about let's try to keep them to one day apiece.
Okay.
So let's do this one the next day.
Yeah, plus man's degeneration into wickedness is a super fun section.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're gonna have a lot of colorful commentary.
We're gonna talk about intermarriage. We're gonna talk about how God grieves mankind. We're gonna talk about Noah and the ark. We're gonna talk about all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I hope you guys can either. If you would help us out, though, by sharing this podcast out, letting your friends know that we are doing this reading throughout 2017 and beyond. So I hope that you can do that for us. Don't forget, we are running a CrowdRise campaign for Engineers Without Borders. And finally, I hope that everybody here, especially KC and I, will both stand up and use our voice this coming year.
It's my job to say that now.
Oh, it is? Okay, go ahead.
And don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.